Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us on our TTI program. Some people may ask what TTI means. So those who are new, it means True Temperance International, and we are a international based ministry. So as some people are coming in, so thank you all for joining us this afternoon. I'll be your host, and I am going to get assistance from Edgar, who will help me in the background, and we have the rest of the team in the background as well, doing the background things to run the program smoothly. So this afternoon, we have Noel and Marie all the way from Jamaica. But before we get to them, we're going to just ask for some testimonials. We haven't had this for quite a while because of we had Brother Mayman on for 4 weeks, the whole of April with us, and we've touched on various topics for 4 weeks. So I'm not sure if anybody has implemented any of the herbs that I may have mentioned, or any of the lifestyle, the different lifestyle choices that Brother may have mentioned, or even from another TTI program. So I'm just going to give you all about 15 minutes or so to let us know the benefits that you have received from listening to any of the TTI programs that you've heard. So I'm opening the platform for about 15 minutes before we go on to Brother Noah and Marie. Anybody like to give a nice testimonial? Any testimonials?
I've just come on. Can you repeat?
Hello.
Can you
Who's that,
repeat the
sorry?
sentence? Granny Pad. Can you repeat
Again,
the question? Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so this is a chance where we're going to have about 15 minutes where people will give a testimonial from any of the challenges that we may have done in the past, or may have implemented any of the herbs or information that Elder Mayman Wilson has done for the last 4 weeks. Have you been on our program before?
Yeah, but a long time ago.
A long time ago. Okay.
Not the latest speaker, Mason. I haven't heard him.
Right. Okay. Well, he's on our YouTube channel. If you want to catch up on there, it's
Yes.
True Temperance International. Yeah. So he's on there.
I will catch up.
To different. Yeah. His information is on our YouTube channel. But have you done any of the challenges from the past?
Oh, not really. I enjoyed them though. I enjoyed listening to all this.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good that you enjoy listening to it. That is good. So we've had quite a few challenges where we had no sugar, more water, sleeping, no eating at a certain time, walking, physical exercises. So we've had quite a few. So I'm not sure if anyone else has any testimonial and felt the benefits of implementing New Start, as that was one of our series where we've tried to implement the 8 laws of health.
I can share something.
Oh, Samantha, hi.
Thank you. That's okay. So since I've joined TTI, when I first joined TTI, I went over to Manor House, which was recommended by TTI, and from there I've been having just 2 meals a day, drinking lemon water in the morning, and I have felt the benefits in my body, and I've lost weight, which I needed to as a result of that. And then after every meal I go out for a long walk, as well. So incorporating all of the new start into, you know, my regime has really, it's really paid off. So yeah.
Oh, that's good, amazing. Thank you, Samantha, for that.
That's very good news.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Samantha. Would anybody else like to give a testimonial?
Hi, Shirley.
Hi, Edgar.
Thank you for welcoming me.
You're welcome. This is Edgar.
By the way, I just wanted to remind everybody that the 4 programs that Mayman did, this is also for the person who you were speaking to. He has done Alzheimer's. I believe that was the first one that he did.
Yes.
He also has done the kitchen pharmacy, which is using herbs and natural things. Last week it was the interconnected systems, and then the one before that was the 2 brains, the brain and the gut, and that's been run over the last 4 weeks. So if anybody who's just joined the platform and doesn't know anything about it, if you go on True Tempers International onto YouTube, you'll be able to get all the videos there, and it's definitely worth watching.
Thank you, Edgar.
Oh, one more thing. I would just like to promote tomorrow. This is going to be unusual. It's going to be more like a weekend thing. So we're running today, but we're also going to be running tomorrow. Same time, same place, 3 o'clock. And we have an international speaker by the name of Barbara O'Neill, and she from Australia, and she will be doing a presentation on natural remedies from the home. So that's 3 o'clock tomorrow. Special program, special speaker. Please invite somebody, tell somebody about it. We'll be here, and I believe it's going to be an excellent program. Back to you, Shirley.
Thank you, Edgar. And thank you for that. So for those who are on now and those who's listening to us on YouTube, thank you for joining us on our session today. So as Edgar mentioned, tomorrow it will be the same time, same place with Barbara. And we haven't had Barbara speak on our platform before. So this is one to come and join us tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So are there any more testimonials? Anybody would like to give a testimony on how you may have benefited from implementing New Start? Maybe cutting out sugar in your diet, more water intake, sleeping at a certain time, leaving the windows open. No, you're all very quiet. Very, very quiet.
I'm needing help. I'm needing help with sleeping at a certain time. And I am a night owl.
Say that again, sorry.
I need help with sleeping at a certain time.
Oh, sleeping at a certain time. Okay.
I am a perpetual night owl.
Okay, okay. Well, there are some remedies on our YouTube channel. There was one on sleep and one on insomnia, and the other one was the science of sleep. Those were the 2. So one on insomnia and one on the science of sleep, and there were some herbs and things that you can do to help you to be able to be relaxed and to help you to sleep. Yeah, so we have some things on there, the remedies regarding those 2, because it is an issue for quite a few people. So we have got some remedies from 2 sessions of what you can do. But if you watch it and you still need some more information or help, if you're on our Telegram, I'm not sure, or our WhatsApp group, you can message any one of us, any of the admin team.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was just going to say, Granny Pad, this is Sharon, also part of the TTI team. If you keep an eye in the chat, then one of us will put the link to the Science of Sleep and the Insomnia YouTube videos in there for you.
Okay, thank you. Don't forget, my name is Granny Pad. My fingers are granny fingers.
Okay.
I'm not well techie, but I'm standing in there.
Okay. Well, if you give us one of the hosts or co-hosts your telephone number, and one of us will be able to add you onto it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. So what I'll do, I'm just going to do just a quick little ad type thing. So as we heard, tomorrow at 3, we have Barbara, same time, same link. On a Tuesday, we have our spiritual Bible study at 7 o'clock. On a Thursday, there's an essential oil class at 7 o'clock on a Thursday. And then again, on a Saturday at 3 is our TTI Family Health Show. So that's the programs that we run in the week. And then, of course, we have, as Sharon said, our Telegram group, the spiritual one, the men's one, and the ladies one, where we discuss about health if someone has an issue, or if you need anyone to do consultations, then you're welcome to speak to us on our Telegram group. So what I will do, I'm not sure if, Edgar, if we can have the disclaimer, please. What I'll do is I want to take it right over to Noel and Marie.
Fine, just give me a moment. I will
Thank you.
do that for you.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Yes, I can see it. Thank you. So only a physician can diagnose, treat, and prescribe for illness or disease. Any information disclosed or discussed at the TTI Zoom talk show are for educational and informational purposes only. So please continue to seek professional medical advice from your general practitioner regarding any illness or disease you may be suffering from. Thank you, Edgar. Noel and Marie, are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are, Shirley.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Shirley.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good morning if you're in Jamaica or places like America. We know that we're in different time zones, so good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. We're very grateful to be here. We've been off TTI for a little while, and we are so happy to be back with you. This afternoon, we will be sharing, or this morning, we'll be sharing some information with you regarding the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system is kind of referred to as one of those forgotten hero of the body. The lymphatic system is the drainage system of the body. And this evening, this morning, we're going to be sharing information that will help you to identify where you are in your health journey. Could this be the missing link to the pain or to the slow recovery that you're experiencing in your on your health journey? All right, so we're going to be sharing our, and we're going to get right into our presentation.
Okay, just bear with us while we just do a few bits here, getting our screen ready. Okay. All right, okay. So I noticed Noel already started saying good morning, and then he's changing to afternoon. So bear with us if we use good morning, or we would say more this morning, or, you know, interchangeably with this afternoon, because we are aware that we are in different time zone, okay? Right, so like Noel said, we'll be looking at lymphatic stagnation, and could it be contributing to your slow recovery? For many years, you know, there's not been a lot of, for many years, there's not been a lot of discussion concerning lymph flow and its importance to our health. So we're just going to do pretty much almost like an introduction to this because it's such a vast field and it's not possible to cover everything in one presentation. But we hope what we'll present this afternoon will be somewhat adequate to, get you thinking, actually, get some ideas as to what you can do to help with your lymphatic flow or your lymph fluid flow, okay?
Right, avoid lymphatic stagnation is a solution we are looking for, ensuring the activation and renewal of the water of life is all that is necessary to avoid and resolve many health conditions. And they're just bear in mind as we go along in this presentation that moves the lymphatic, and these are the things that we will be sort of zeroing in on today, and just make a note of them. The three of the main things that move the lymphatic system is breathing, movement, that is our movement, that is exercise, and hydration. Don't forget those three: movement, exercise, breathing, and hydration.
So this quote that we've just shared from Edley, he's saying to avoid this lymphatic stagnation, yes? If we avoid this, we've kind of won half the battle in terms of our health restoration. So this is how vital lymph flow is to our, well-being and, keeping well. So lymphatic system made, what is a lymphatic system and how is it made up? So really the lymphatic system is the body's filter, or in other words, it's like its waste removal system.
Or if you want to call it the drainage system of the body.
Right. And as a result, it's one of the most crucial parts of the immune system. It is comprised of vessels and organs, and the main function of this is to return lymph fluid from the tissues back into the bloodstream. So we're going to discover that the lymphatic system works in correlation circulatory system, or work along with the circulatory system.
Now, the psalmist said, bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not his benefits. And listen to verse 3. In verse 3, it said, who forgiveth all the iniquities and healeth all thy diseases. And we're talking here about our Creator. Who redeemeth thy life, crowneth thee with loving kindness and tender mercies, who satisfieth thy mouth with good things, so that thy youth is renewed like the eagle. And this is so true because it is God, our Creator, who protects us from all diseases that are out there, all the pestilences that are out there. It is God who we depend on. And today, we need to really get ourselves in harmony with our Creator who have made us. I mean, depending on the kind of vehicle that you drive, you're not going to be taking your vehicle to just any dealer to have it repaired. You're going to take it preferably to someone who specializes in the make of your vehicle. And it's the same with our bodies. We can only go back to God to get healing for our body.
So let's take a look at the lymphatic system. On your screen, you are able to see the organs and stuff that make up the lymphatic system. And so in the neck area, we have the cervical nodes, right? And there are quite a few of them around your neck area. There's some lymph nodes also under your armpit, and these are referred to as the auxiliary lymph nodes. You've got some in your groin, and these are the inguinal ones. And another set of lymph nodes that is not shown highlighted on this picture is the ones behind your knee, and these are called in the popliteal lymph nodes. All right, so right across the body we have lymph nodes. Now notice that a part of the lymphatic system, we have like the thymus gland, and the thymus gland is where our T cells are made. The bone marrow is another intricate part of the lymphatic system, and that's where our B cells are made. The appendix, we've got the spleen, we've got the adenoid, the tonsil. These are all part of our lymphatic system and play a very, very vital role in keeping our body's defense up against diseases. So we're going to be looking at some parts of these as well as we go through. But this is a snapshot as to what comprises our lymphatic system. So if we start by looking at the lymph nodes. Now, the lymph node is like bean shape in terms of its physical appearance, all right? And the role of the lymph node is to filter substances that travel through the lymphatic fluid, right? And these, which are the same as white blood cells. And for those of us who know about white blood cells, it is what helps the body to fight infection and disease, okay? So lymphocytes fight infection and disease, and they are carried around the body by our lymph, or by lymph, which is the fluid, okay? And as this fluid passes through the lymph node, it filters. The picture to the right is actually showing you the lymph nodes of the breast, and that's why when we get like infection in that area, we tend to find that even our armpits, we get those little enlargement of the lymph gland there, the lymph node. The lymph gland is the same thing as the lymph node, if I do use those terms interchangeably as well.
Yeah, and one of the things that we need to note as well is that when we develop these swollen lymph nodes under armpit, especially those who suffer with things like breast cancer or infection in the breast, sometimes calcium calcification and all of that sort of thing. There are simple things that can be done. And if you find that there's some amount of tenderness underneath beneath the armpit, then you know definitely that something is going on with the breast, ladies. So this is one way, this is one key indicator. These lymph nodes are there to sort of alert us from time to time. They play a role of filtration, but also they're there as an indicator to indicate to us that there is something going on. There's something that is not working correctly inside the body. So please make a note of that, and we will show you later on simple ways of getting rid of these swollen lymph nodes. Simple remedies that we can use to rid ourselves of them.
Okay.
Now, these are wise words from our Creator again. He said, I will praise thee. Why? Because the psalmist said what? For I am what? Fearfully and wonderfully made. And, Isaiah said that, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And this is so true. We are destroyed many times for lack of knowledge, because oftentimes you hear people go to the doctor and they will have their tonsil removed. What are some of the organs they would normally remove?
Appendix.
They'll get the appendix removed, but these
Adenoids.
are the adenoids removed as well. And we're not realizing that when we remove these organs that God has placed in our body, We are shortchanging our immune system. We are compromising our immune system, and our body become less able to deal with these stress and these challenges that we will face. And you can understand why Solomon said, "Why die before thy time?" Now,
okay. So the tonsils, let's look at the tonsils and the adenoids. When I worked as a teacher, I had several students, young children who've had their adenoids being removed because of continual infection. Yes, they're constantly being infected, and the doctor thought the best thing to do was to remove the adenoids. Yes, but note careful that adenoids are lymphatic glands. When I talk about the cervical nodes, yes, which are up in the neck region, yes, the tonsils and the adenoids is a part of that. They're just lymphatic glands, and which contain, so they're like masses of lymphatic tissues in those areas, and they are there because they are like or part of our body security system, and this is what actually protect our bodies from infection. So at the top of our body, yes, at the top of our gastrointestinal tract, we've got these lymphatic tissues or mass of tissues there to actually filter our blood and filter things as it enters the body, okay, and to protect us. So by removing these, we are actually shortchanging, as Noah would say, our immune system. We are moving some of the watchmen or the security. Yes, from our body. So what normally happens is that when these foreign invaders will come into our body, because these are being removed, then it means it's lessen the likelihood for our bodies to be tackling infection at this stage, and then it will actually find itself elsewhere in the body. And an interesting fact about the tonsils is that it contains approximately 200 million lymphocytes. Yes, and lymphocytes is what fight infection. So by removing this, we are removing the white blood vessels that are there to protect us. So, you know, if you are having constant reinfection of the tonsils and the adenoids, I'd want you to think again as to, you know, what can I do to help, you know, my body to get rid of the toxic waste that is built up in these areas. How can I empower the body to get rid of this toxic waste, rather than, you know, going as you know, to remove the tonsils or the adenoids.
And another one is the appendix. The appendix, so many people have gone into the doctor and have their appendix removed because it became inflamed. Now, one of the let's not forget the purpose of the appendix, because some doctors will tell you that it serves no purpose in the body. But the appendix is there to do a particular job. No, when you want to, you know, there are times when you're out and you need to use the, you know, you need to have a bowel movement, but it's just not possible. And the more you try to hold that fecal waste inside your body, what is actually happening? It's secreting toxin that is getting into the blood. So what the appendix does, it's try to quarantine and try to you know, excrete this substance that protect, that sort of neutralize that toxin that is being that the body is being producing. So the appendix, it serves a very important role. It's trying to keep us alive. So just imagine what we're doing to our bodies when we remove that, when we go to the doctor and have it removed. We are slowly killing ourselves. And that is why the wise man Solomon said, why die before thy time, before your time?
I do know that some people question, well, if I've got a ruptured appendix, I've got no you know, choice but to remove it. We're just saying that, you know, let wisdom guide us in all that we actually, you know, do. Now, if you've got a child or yourself are, suffering from tonsillitis or adenitis, what are some of the things that you can do? With golden seal, 1 cup preferably 3 to 4 times each day. And how you do this is while you gargle and you don't get rid of that, you actually swallow. Yes. So that's golden seal. You can do an ice collar, or you can use a cold flannel around your neck to help with reducing the infection in that area. You can use heat compress around the neck area in the same way. Another thing that you can do, you can allow 1 charcoal tablet to dissolve in your mouth. You can do this several times throughout the day, but it's important not to do it at meal times, because the charcoal becomes quite inactive, or you reduce its effectiveness by about 50% when taken with a meal. I know that what you're dealing with will be in the upper area of the gastrointestinal tract, but it's also still better if you don't use it. Take it at meal times, right? Another thing that you can do to help with tonsillitis and adenitis is a high maintenance or high intake of vitamin C, and you can also supplement with vitamin A, selenium, and zinc. These things will actually help to boost your immune system and help your body to naturally fight the infection.
Yeah, another thing that we can also use is this. You can use it as a gargle to help to remove that infection as well. Very, very effective. Ileum powder.
Now, generally, so what we just spoke about was if you are dealing with tonsillitis or adenitis, what to do. But generally, if you've got swollen lymph nodes, whether under your armpits, around your neck, in your groin area, behind your knees, these are some of the things that you can actually do or apply to help the swollen lymph nodes. You can use comfrey, plantain, apple cider vinegar, witch hazel. And what you actually do, you can use one, or you can use a combination of these herbs and make it into a tea. And then you would use it as like an application to the.
You can also use things like carrot poultice. We can use castor oil packs. We can make it into a poultice and apply to the affected area.
In addition to this, you could go 400 to 500 mg of pineapple compound. And the active ingredient there is going to be the bromelain, and you take it on an empty stomach. And this will help to get rid of the inflammation from the area.
Now, these are compresses as well that you can use on these swollen lymph nodes. You can use 2 ounces of mullein leaf powder. You can use ½ ounce of lubella powder.
Basically, chapter 12 of liberation is talking about.
Can we just ask that person to mute, please? Thank you.
Right, so I'll just go over this again. So it said we can actually apply a compress for swelling of the lymph node. Said we might have these lymph nodes in our groin. In Jamaica, you often hear people say things like, I've got a Wasson canal. And once they say Wasson canal, you know exactly where that is. It's going to be in the groin area. Lymph nodes and swollen lymph nodes in other parts of the body. What can you use? You can use 2 ounces of mullein powder, or you can use ½ ounce of lubella powder. You can use a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Simmer in 2 quarts of apple cider vinegar for 2 minutes. Allow to cool, then strain and apply to the affected area. Remember, this is an external application that you're using from swollen lymph nodes.
Now we're going to go a little bit into the function of the lymphatic system, right? So we just talk about tonsil and adenitis and swollen lymph nodes, which is what people tend to face on a regular basis, and most familiar to most of us, and what we can do for that. But what else does the lymphatic system, so the lymph really is to transport clean fluid back to the blood. Okay, so it helps with the filtration, like we talk about the lymph nodes filtering the lymph fluid. It drains excess fluid from tissues. It removes debris from the cells, and it transports fat from the system. So one of the things that we want you to remember is that if you haven't got a good flow of lymph, then it means that your fats won't move to the right places. Yeah. And that's why sometimes you have people like truncal obesity. This is not the only cause, but this is one of the reasons why you end up that people have a lot of fat around the middle section of their body. Mm-hmm. Yes, because of the fat not being moved. Yes, this is normally carried from the lymph fluid.
Yeah, and one thing we need to understand as well is that we've got 3 sort of system within the body that moves on fluid. We've got the arterial system, that's the arteries that transport oxygen and nutrient. We've also got the vascular system that moves the blood around the body, and then we've got the lymphatic system. Now, the other 2 picked up somewhere in the region of they transport anywhere up to 20 liters of fluid around the body. Now, 3 liters of this fluid always gets stuck in some of the tissues. And this is where the lymphatic system comes in, and it mops up these extra 3 liters of fluid and pretty much filters it and put it back into the bloodstream. So you see that you can begin to see and understand the importance. Remember I said there are three things that help lymph to move, and they are what? Movements, they are deep breathing, and hydration. So it's important to combine these 3 factors. And of course, we can establish these in the laws of health.
Okay, so while this lymphatic system is part of the circulatory system, it does not have a pumping mechanism. And so this is why Noel is saying, for you to have a good movement of the lymph fluid, you need what? Movement, okay? So how the lymph, so we know the heart is like the pumping mechanism for the circulatory system. The lymphatic system it relies on the valves or muscles within the body, and valves. So as they open and close, that's how the lymph fluid propels throughout the body. And so if we have like sedentary lifestyle, this goes against the flow of lymph. All right, because it is dependent on the movement, and our muscles in order to get it going.
Now, we might ask ourselves, so what's the relationship between the lymphatic system and the circulatory system? Now, the circulatory system move blood throughout the body as no normal microbial.
And has no normal microbiota.
Yeah. Yes. The lymphatic system moves fluid from interstitial spaces of the tissue toward the circulatory system and filters them and filter the lymph, just like I've said earlier on. So they do play they have an intrinsic role in moving fluid around the body, filtration, and pretty much allowing the body to excrete what is not necessary or needed.
And normally, as our lymph flows around the body, the toxins are removed from the body via urination, when we breathe, sweating, and even through our feces as well. You know, the channels of elimination is where we find that these toxins are being removed. And that's why you're going to see later in the presentation that if you have a sluggish lymph flow or it's stagnated, how it gives rise to kidney issues. All right, because the kidneys will help, you know, through the kidney by the bladder, that we're going to find that we pass our urine. All right. Now, this is an interesting fact that the lymphatic system is 3.5 times more than the blood system or the circulatory system. Now, what can we deduce from that? Now, we know we always talk about our circulatory system and how important that is, but notice the lymphatic system is 3.5 times more. It is showing how important it is for our body to get rid of what? Waste and toxin from the body, because to have these in the body means that we are going to, what shall I say, create a less than an ideal situation in the body, and the body cannot function the way it ought to when we have like almost like a septic state in the body, if we are not able to eliminate the toxins and bacteria and all of these things from the body. So the lymphatic system, even by its size, is showing, you know, of its importance.
Yeah, and one thing that we also need to note is that the circulatory system, remember, this is the lymphatic system is 3.5 times that of the circulatory system, and the number that if you should track the circulatory system, I think moves around the body throughout the day. Within a 24-hour period, it should have done somewhere in the region of about 12 miles worth of traveling around the body. So just try to imagine 12 miles. This is 36, over 36 miles worth of traveling around the body, the lymphatic system, because if the circulatory system is what? It travels about 12 miles around the body, you know, distributing blood, circulating the blood around the body. This is doing 3.5 times more, that number of work. So the lymphatic system is very, very crucial to our health.
Now, it's the lymph fluid in the body, right? If it were to be tested, and this is something that Kelly Kennedy stated, that if it were to be tested, right, long before there's any manifestation of any symptoms or, you know, of lymph stagnation, right, if this fluid were to be tested, you would actually note that there's something wrong. She says the health of the lymph fluid within the body will indicate what? Irregularities, long before those irregularities manifest into symptoms. So the lymph, if it were to be tested, would be an early indicator of things that are happening in our body long before we begin to have symptoms. And it shows the gap between the symptoms and what's going on, shows that our bodies would have been compensating for a long time, trying to fix things long before even we have symptoms. So when you're having symptoms of one kind or the other, is an indication that long before the symptoms are being noticed, that something was going on in the body. And that's why it's, you know, looking after the body, trying to bring the body back on course. It's not a quick fix, because especially with herbal therapies and treatments that lots of people expect like a magic wand, things to happen. But long before symptoms are being manifested, there was something going on and your body was trying to deal with it. Yes? So it will take time if we're going to go natural way to help our health to be restored. So if the lymphatic system is based on what we said before, there will be a buildup of lymph fluids that can't get reabsorbed into the blood capillaries, okay? And what happens at this point is that this sits in the tissues, right? And as this fluid rather sits in the tissues, it creates swelling. And a lot of time diagnosed with what? Edema. And all it is, it's because of the stagnation of our lymph flow, right? That cause a buildup of fluid in the tissues, and it gives rise to this swelling. Now, I remember a few years ago when I was really ill and I was going to the doctor repeatedly, right? Because I had rheumatoid arthritis or something like that. I was getting swelling in the joints of my fingers, in my knees. I couldn't come down in the morning. My wrists, I had to wear a band to support my wrist because it was swollen most of the time. Now, when I went to the specialist, they couldn't see that that there was any rheumatoid arthritis or arthritis of any kind. And they kept checking, right? And as I studied the lymph, I'm now realizing that this was a stagnation of my lymph fluid that was causing these rays in the joints because of the tissues holding on to this fluid. Okay, so some of the things that we want to think about as we go through this presentation of lymphatic flow is there a structural blockage? What could be causing a blockage in our system?
Are there scars on the fascia? And this is something that we really need to be questioning, because some people might have surgeries and stuff like that, and we understand that when we have surgery, it would have destroyed some of those tissues. So the fascia itself is damaged, and the fascia is what the lymph used to sort of transport the fluid through the body.
So any scarring, like Noel said, of the fascia, and the fascia is it's just beneath the skin, and it's like a network of capillaries and stuff that's beneath the skin. So if that is damaged, that impedes the flow of lymph, all right? And now the question that we want to ask ourselves is, how can we get the drainage system working better? How can we get our lymph flowing?
Now, here are some symptoms, and this is where I really want us to examine ourselves to see where we are, to see if, we've got any of these symptoms that we are looking at here on the screen. Swelling in your fingers. You get up in the morning and you notice that the fingers are feeling very stiff. They're not feeling the way they were before you went to bed. They're feeling completely different. Feeling stiff or sore when you wake up in the morning. The joints in the body just, they start to ache and pain all over. Cold hands and feet. That's another sign. Brain fog. And this one, we won't get into this one today, but there are some new research out about what we call lymphatic, which is fluid, built up of fluid inside the brain, which, if not properly drained, will lead to Alzheimer's. Chronic fatigue, just constantly feeling tired. Excess weight. I think you spoke about that earlier on, Marie, about especially truncal obesity. Food sensitivity. You find it that you become very allergic to just about everything. Edema, a very common one. Lymphedema, it's not listed here, but that's another one. Dry or itchy skin. I remember some weeks ago, I went to visit this lady and she said her entire body is just scratching her. She has a stomach issue and her entire body is just scratching her. And everything natural that she should have taken just caused her skin to itch even more. Sinus infection, one of the more common and more pronounced one, is a sign of lymphatic stagnation. Weakened immunity, enlarged lymph nodes like we've mentioned earlier on, allergies, unexplained injury or illness, just like Marie spoke about earlier on, where she had these swollen joints and everything, going to the doctors and they just weren't sure what was happening to her. Cellulitis, This is one that many ladies struggle with, especially in the thigh region and the buttocks. Cellulitis. These again are just most of these are just block lymph, blockage of the whole lymph system. And we're going to show you simple ways of reversing or helping you to overcome most of these lymphatic stagnation today as we go. So just make a note of these things. You might want to take a screenshot of it. Begin to look at yourself. Begin to ask yourself, am I manifesting any of these symptoms that are here on the screen? Now, let's look at some of the things that clog your lymph nodes. Now, we talk about things like, and some of these are what we call environmental toxin. For example, heavy metal toxicity, pollution, medicine, and even more food containing some very dangerous substances. These things can block your lymph nodes. I have a client I'm working with, and I remember some years ago, she traveled to the United States, and she said to me, I was okay when I was in Jamaica, but I've traveled to the US, and I noticed that since yesterday, my lymph nodes have been swollen. And I smiled. I said, "But you should know what would have caused that." And she said, "No, I'm not too sure." I said, "Remember you passed through those scanners at the airport where they scan your whole body." Mm-hmm. Those are environmental toxin for someone who's been who's got cancer cells in the body, active cancer cells in the body that have created this cancer. You're gonna be you're gonna notice that as soon as you've been exposed to some amount of electromagnetic radiation, these things are gonna become very pronounced. The lymph nodes are gonna be swollen. It's a response to these toxins that are out there. Another common one is this one we call glyphosate. Glyphosate is an active ingredient in herbicide, the same pesticide that we call Roundup, we use as a weed killer. That again is very, very toxic to the lymph nodes and will eventually lead to a swollen lymph node.
I mean,
another one
that's something that like he's revealed to you. My thing was that because we already knew that already. But
can we mute our mics?
We talk about scarring, scar tissues, like we said. You may have done a surgery or something like that. That will affect a clogged lymph node. In terms of dental, root canal, cavitation, amalgam filling. Mm-hmm. Fillings can also, create a problem, some amount of infection and toxic buildup inside the mouth. Now, poor sleep. Grandpa talk about that, make reference to not getting enough rest at night. Poor sleep, this is one of the things that will bring on things like brain fog. It said, you want to read this one here?
The glyphatic system, which is the same lymphatic system, but right now talking about the portion, the brain.
Right, the
toxin fluid in the brain. Yeah, it works at night to clear toxin from the brain. So when you get inadequate sleep, this interaction cannot happen where the lymph system becomes congested with toxin, compromising your immune response. So you'll find that you'll suffer from brain fog if this is habitual, where you are not getting adequate sleep, or even if you're sleeping, your body's not resting effectively, because it's during the night that the body actually clears the brain of toxins. Yeah, so there's going to be a buildup of toxin over time in your brain.
Yeah. Now, poor hydration again. Now, think about it. Our body is made up, our lymphatic system is made up of nearly 100% of it is water. Now, if your body are not properly hydrated, the flow becomes sluggish and can quickly become congested in areas of high toxicity. So it's important to hydrate our system. It's important. We cannot overemphasize the importance of proper hydration to avoid, lymph nodes being clogged.
And as Noel mentioned, that if from the slide you can pick up that sleep is one of the natural health doctors from the 8 health doctors. Adequate water, yes, is another one. So we can see a violation of these, 2 of these, key principles or key health principles can also contribute significantly, especially hydration, to sluggish or clogged or stagnated lymph. So the big question is the lymph flow, because that's important. If we're having, stagnation or poor flow of lymph from different things, how can we enhance the lymph flow? That's what we're going to look at now.
Okay. We're going to be looking here at how can we enhance the lymph flow, and we're going to be looking at things like herbal tonics for the lymphatic system. We're going to look at that. We will be looking at deep breathing. And I don't want us to get carried away with these sort of yoga or meditation and all of these sort of things. We're just talking about natural deep breathing. We'll be looking at exercise using things like a rebounder. That is one very, very good of
getting your lymph
lymph flowing freely throughout the body. We'll be looking at poor diet, manual massage. This is very good. We'll be looking at skin brushing, and we're going to be looking also at one of the new techniques, one of the new machines that are being used today to help to decongest the lymphatic system. Now,
I think this is kind of self-explanatory. If 96% of our lymphatic system, lymph is 96% water, all right? That's the fluid in the lymphatic system, referred to as lymph, is 96% water. If we are poorly hydrated, it means that this system, this fluid cannot go around the body as efficiently as it needs to be. And remember the whole thing about lymph, purpose of lymph, the function of it is to rid the body of waste. So it means that this system is going to be sluggish, right? And it cannot take out the toxins and stuff from our body, right? Because it hasn't got adequate fluid to do so. And normally, I should just say, normally when our bodies become dehydrated, right, we find that the body begins to compensate by what? Pulling fluid from the brain and from our muscles, right? And that's why people will tend to have more pains, aches and pains, especially if they're not well hydrated. So this is something to think about, all right? So if we're poorly hydrated, the lymph cannot move around the body as it ought to be. It means that our bodies are going to be holding on to a lot of toxins, bacteria, and waste for much longer period of time. And this is going to give rise to inflammation. We're going to find that our glands, the lymph glands, are going to be what? Swollen, because this is where the system of filtration, all right? And these are going to be holding on to a lot of toxin, all right? And we need the water to get this out of the body. Now, there are the foods, okay? So there's some foods that will cause our lymph flow to be sluggish as well, like red meat, greasy, fatty foods, fried foods, cheese, buttermilk, dairy on a whole, sugar and sugar-based products, alcohol, vinegar and pickles, and also artificial additives, yes, and preservatives and colorings and flavorings that we have. These things should be avoided in order to help our lymph to flow.
Now, deep breathing. This is a technique that we all need to understand clearly. One of the best way to deep breathe flat on our back. So you lie flat on your back, maybe on your bed, and this is something I always encourage some of my clients to do before bed and just before getting out of bed in the morning. You lie flat on your back. The reason is when you lie flat on your back as against standing, the only place you can breathe from is from your diaphragm. You can't breathe, unlike shallow breathing, so you cannot shallow breathe lying on your back. You can only breathe from your diaphragm. So this is very, very important. So one of the things I always encourage is 5 minutes before bed, just lie flat on your back. And maybe you want to make this your challenge for the week. Lie flat on your back, stretch your arms out, stretch your legs right out, point your toe forward, and just do some deep breathing. And there you can actually rest your hand on top of your tummy, and you will feel the tummy going in and out as you breathe. So you're breathing directly from your diaphragm. This is very, very important. The other thing is there is spirometer that encourages deep breathing, and I would encourage all of us to try and to get one of this, and especially in this period of pandemic where people have to be wearing masks and all of that sort of thing. We are deprived of fresh air, so it's important meters and just spend some time in the evening. Take it with you at work. You're sitting up in your office, just use it. It's very light, very portable, and just do some deep breathing like you see this gentleman here is doing. Now, Marie, you want to say a few things about the fascia?
Okay, so the fascia is like I mentioned before, just beneath the skin, and it's just a connective tissues, beneath the skin. Now, when you get up in the morning, there is what we refer to as fuzzing, okay? Where the fascia, you find that there's adhesion, yeah? They're kind of sticking together, and you can't, if you were to put your finger across it, you cannot move your finger as easily as you want to. In the fascia is where a lot of our lymph fluid flow. And so if there is adhesion, it's going to prevent the flow of actual lymph. So we're going to share a short video, it's about 2 minutes, of what you need to do when you're having this fuzzing, because a lot of people, they wake up in the morning and they have stiffness in the joints, and for the tendency is not wanting to move that joint or move that limb because of the pain that you're having. But what we would like you to do is the opposite. Even though it might be painful, try and move it, because the less movement that takes place is the more fuzzing that is going to happen, or take place. And then you're going to find long-term it's even more difficult to move. Okay, so do watch this short video. I'm just going to make sure that I share sound again, just to make sure that I'm just checking. Okay.
Okay, so we've seen the fuzz. You can see it now. I'll put it in over my voice. The fuzz yields to my fingertip. Sometimes I come across a stronger, thicker strand that doesn't yield to my fingertip. That represents older fuzz sometimes, or maybe it represents a nerve. But each night when you go to sleep, the interfaces between your muscles grow fuzz potentially. And in the morning when you wake up and you stretch, the fuzz melts. We melt the fuzz. That stiff feeling you have is the solidifying of your tissues. The sliding surfaces aren't sliding anymore. There's fuzz growing in between them. You need to stretch. Every cat in the world gets up in the morning and it stretches its body and it melts the fuzz in the same way that the fuzz melted when I passed my finger through it. When you're moving, it's as if you're passing your finger through the fuzz, just like I did on the cadaver form here. So you have to stretch and move and use your body in order to building up between the sliding surfaces of your musculature. The sliding surface, those shiny white surfaces of the rectus femoris sliding against the vastus intermedialis. So these sliding surfaces are all over your body, and the fuzz is all over your body. And as you move, you melt the fuzz. Now, what happens if you get an injury? Ah, my shoulder. My shoulder is stiff now. I'm holding my shoulder. I go to bed. I wake up in the morning. I don't stretch my shoulder. I'm afraid it hurts. So I'm walking around like this. Last night's fuzz doesn't get melted. I go to bed. I sleep some more. Now I have 2 nights fuzz built up. Now 2 nights fuzz is more fuzz than 1 night's fuzz. What if I have a week's fuzz or a month's fuzz? Now those fuzz fibers start lining up and intertwining and intertwangling, and all of a sudden you have thicker fibers forming. You start to have an inhibition of the potential for movement there. It's no longer simply a matter of going, oh, stretch. Now you need some work. Now you might need to do a more systematic exploration of that place to restore the original movement. Okay.
Now,
go ahead.
So we see the importance of stretching, especially in the morning when we get out of bed. It's important to stretch. And for someone again who is suffering from, who've got swollen lymph nodes under the armpit, one of the things you want to do is to keep moving your arms. So you stretch your arms up. You want to stretch them sideways, you want to stretch them forward, backward as far as you can go, and just keep repeating these exercises. And you will begin to notice that those swollen lymph nodes will begin to just disintegrate, because what you're doing, you're breaking these swollen glands that exist there. Now, one of the we've got what we call a BOA Max 2 massage device. And this was actually created in Poland to help to drain the lymphatic system. And you would find maybe a few therapists now start using these things. It's almost like a suit, a very thick suit that you go in, and what it does, it compresses the body, and it helps, sort of inflate and deflate sort of mechanism that help to drain the lymphatic system. And this is very, 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 very important, because as effective as the rebounding is, this is even more important, more effective than the rebounding. So let's have a look at some of the things that we can devise, picked up from this machine.
So like Noel said, it was developed in Poland, and it's used, this device unclogs the pipes and gets your lymph fluid and detoxification moving again. And what it does is squeezing mechanism, so it's based on air pressure that pumps the body's fluid. And when it's activated, the pump fills the air chamber of the compression sleeves to pressure the tissues, forcing fluids such as blood and lymph, out of the pressurized area. So when this will replenish with oxygen and nutrient-rich blood, it improves blood flow and heart function by reducing artery flow resistance. Now, another thing it does that the lymph fluid is pumped against gravity and move through the filtration process in the lymph nodes. This results in improved elimination of metabolic waste from the interstitial spaces. It can produce faster removal of toxin, metabolic products, and excess fluid by widening lymphatic vessels. The peristalsis movement relaxes the muscle and drains excessive fluid that are a product of muscle activity. So you can see that this equipment, if you're in an area where treatment is available, is quite beneficial, and a comprehensive piece of equipment that will help with lymph flow.
Now I want to talk about the bed now.
Oh, another thing that can be used, especially for people who wake up in the morning and have, feeling those stiffness, is what is referred to as an inclined bed therapy, where you raise the head of your bed. So you are not flat like all normal bed, but you are like on an incline, because what this does is while you're sleeping, it gets the fluids to be working or still pumping around more than normal at, so while you're in this inclined position, it actually increases blood flow and also lymph flow. So there'll be less stiffness, and especially for people who are maybe immobile, maybe you have suffered from some illness or something and you can't move around, you're bedridden. This bed incline therapy is very, very effective for not just circulation, but for lymph flow. All right, so you could look more into bed incline therapy if you're interested in that.
Yeah, another way of releasing the lymph flow around the body is dry skin brushing. And I don't want us to get carried away and think that any old brush will do it. You have to get a specific brush. These brushes, they're available on Amazon. It's dead skin exfoliation, lymphatic system stimulating, cellulite reducing, pores unclogging, stress relieving. And this is something that we just need to do for 5 minutes. And it's very, very, very beneficial. And this doesn't mean that you're going to be scrubbing the body. You're just be doing a very gentle brushing, very, very, it's almost like it's just stopping the skin.
Yeah, and if you want to see how this is done, you can just go on YouTube and just find a video that shows you just how to do it. There's some people who do it in their bath, and these are the benefits that can be derived. Good result. Yeah.
Now we talk about rebounding, and rebounding is an exercise that I encourage just about everybody to do. It doesn't matter how feeble you are, it doesn't matter how weak or how frail you are, everybody should be able to do some amount of rebounding. And you ask me why, and I will explain to you in a little while. Rebounding, 15 minutes per day on a rebounder is equivalent to 1 hour brisk walking. That's what the research has shown. Just 15 minutes. And again, we talk about the lymph flow is going against gravity. The lymph system doesn't have a pump like the circulatory system to pump the fluid around like the blood would have the heart to do that. So we have the lymph system completely relies on what? Movements. And this is one way of moving the lymph, just going on this. And for people who are very old, might say, I'm afraid I'm going to fall off, I'm not a child. Notice it has an handlebar that you can actually hold on to. They're structured in different, most of these little exercise rebounded. There are things that can just fold the legs and shove under your bed when you're finished with them. So they don't take up a lot of space. And these, whenever you go to get one of these, you buy it according to your weight. So always take that into consideration, your weight into consideration. Some you don't even have to stand on them, depending on the state of your health. You can actually sit on them, rest your feet onto the floor, and just have somebody just bouncing it for you. So keep you moving up and down. It's very, very good. Right now, what I'm going to be showing you, I'm just going to be showing you a little, a very short video from Dr. Melissa Gallagher, showing you how to, use the rebounder.
The lymph motivated by bouncing. So the first thing that you do is you literally are just bouncing up and down. And so if you can see, my feet are not, I'm not jumping, I'm just moving. This force of moving up and down and the weightlessness that comes with rebounding on a trampoline, this actually is moving your lymph flow. But what it's doing is it's forcing the whole entire body to open. I will have shortness of breath as I do this because it's moving the lymphatics. And so you can kind of feel things moving. So this is phase 1. When you get on your rebounder, you just want to start slowly bouncing. If anything, your heels are picking up in the back, but you can literally just gently move up and down. That's step number 1, moving up and down. Step number 2 is moving arms up. So it's kind of like jumping jacks. So you move your arms up and down, Okay, so what that's doing is it's moving the axillary nodes, opening those up, helping move fluid in the arms. And then the sensation of this is you're literally doing like the walking man. Okay, so you can go fast. Okay, it helps if you swing your arms. Okay, so friends, the next step, I want to start bouncing. So you can bounce a little bit or really a lot. It doesn't matter, you're still getting the flow. It is not uncommon for folks as we're doing this to feel like their bladder's filling because we're moving the lymph and that's how it exits your body. So we're bouncing up and down and up and down. And then you can do more arm exercises. You want to cross your arms in front of your body and that will get the lymph flowing in your arms. And you know what else rebounding does? It moves cellulite. So rebounding is one of the best ways to get toxicity out of your body through lymphatics. And 10 minutes on your rebounder is the equivalent of a 50-minute run. It's not uncommon for you to also feel muscles burning. One of the things you will experience when you are rebounding is you are going to get your heart rate up. If you have any type of heart issues or heart conditions, this is something you want to slowly ease into. Usually I recommend rebounding for 10 to 15 minutes, but as you can hear, I've just done this routine. I'm winded. You might want to start with 3 minutes, then move to 5, and then a week later move to 7, and then to 10, and then ultimately 12 to 15. But for anybody, rebounding is going to greatly impact your lymph flow. For individuals who might not be able to get on a rebounder and be stable on your feet, an altered version is to sit with your butt on your rebounder and bounce. And that literally will move the lymphatics just like you would if you were standing on your rebounder and bouncing up and down. Now you can incorporate hand.
Okay, so you can see that the benefits of using a rebounder is invaluable as well. And for women especially who suffer from cellulites in the, on the thighs and the buttocks and the upper arm, yes, rebounding is very good. Another thing that stimulates lymph flow is massage, yeah? So getting a good massage will also stimulate lymph flow. We're moving on quickly because we realize time is slipping, but this is another video because no matter how we try to explain, it's always better just showing you a quick video. For people who suffer from like sinusitis and congestion in the upper, in the face and the neck region, this is a very good massage or just like patting the body gently in different places where the lymph nodes are will ease the congestion. I must say there is a specific way of doing it because like you're unclogging a drain pipe, you need to move the area that is nearest to the outflow first, and then you go to the other area to move the what should I say, what is causing the clogging there. So do pay attention to where your starting point if you're doing this exercise. So you'll benefit from this greatly, this video and these techniques if you suffer from sinusitis, and especially that we're in spring. Yes, allergies, hay fever, you'll benefit from this. So do watch this video.
So lymphatic drainage massage is very slow. You're going the fluid from the surface of the skin. It's also very light. You'll be using the pressure of moving a coin across the top of a table. It is not, but it is very, very effective. We're going to be working on the lymphatic fluids that are close to the surface of the skin. And what I'm going to show you how to do is how to drain your head, and we're going to drain the neck and around the ears and the back of the neck. And that will give you some relief if you're suffering from allergies, sinus congestion, if you have headaches from congestion in the head. Sometimes this can help with dizziness or vertigo, some of the side symptoms that go along with having a cold and having a lot of fluid in your head. So to start, we're going to find the venous angle, which is the primary place where all of the lymphatic drainage fluid is going to drain back into the body. That happens up here in the venous angle. It's between it is between the sternocleidomastoid muscle and in a small divot right above where your clavicle is. So I'm going to show you how to find that. Take your third finger, your ring finger on each hand, and I'm going to place that on the interior notch, the most medial part of the collarbone. It's that little bump that you have here. Here's the breastbone, your little notch at your neck. I'm going to put my third finger on the inside of the collarbone on each side. I'm just going to slide my hands up over the collarbone until I'm in that soft tissue. That soft tissue is going to make the mastoid muscle, this long muscle right here. And here's the collarbone. So third finger there. I'm going to move my hands inside just a little bit and lightly start to pump. Now, as you can see, I'm not pressing very hard. I'm not using a lot of pressure. Again, the pressure is very light. I'm going very slow, maybe one pump every 1 to 2 seconds, if that fast. So very slow motion. As you do this, you may feel the drainage start to move. You may have to clear your throat. I probably will have to several times. You may feel the pressure change in your ears as well, or in your head. If this is too hard for you to do, you can also cross your hands and use your fingertips and basically push in a little bit and pull down towards that venous angle on both sides. I usually have people do between 50 and 20 of these pumps just to start out with, and that gets the fluid moving. The way the lymphatic system works, you start here, and it's just like any other kind of fluid system. As the fluid drains from this section, it's going to create suction, which pulls drainage from the higher point in the system, which is going to be on either side of the neck. So once you've done 50 or 100 of these pumps down here at the neck, we're going to work on the side of the neck. So we're going to place the flat part of our fingers and the top part of our palm on either side of the neck. Hold on to it like this, and you'll just start pulling down with the surface of your palm and the surface of your fingers. So pulling straight down, really along that angle of where the sternocleidomastoid muscle is, that big muscle that we were just pointing out. So do about 50 of these. You'll feel it start to move from your ears now down into your throat. Sometimes it'll feel like a tickle in your throat. Sometimes it'll feel like additional blood flow is getting in there. Once you've done about 50 of these, we're going to work on the back of the neck. To do that, we're going to put our hands, cup our hands together like this, put the surface of the fingers again and the top part of the palm on the back of the neck and pull it back. So I've got my fingers cupped and I'm pulling down on the back of the neck. Do that 50 times. So we did 50 or 100 here. We did about 50 here. We did 50 at the back of the neck. And the last part we're going to do is work on around the ear. So you're going to put your hands in the live long and prosper symbol. One very useful thing to know if you're a Trekkie. And you're going to put it on, put your ear between those two fingers on both sides. And then you're just going to pull downward toward the bottom of the cheek, toward that same line where everything drains. So everything's going to drain this direction. Put your hands so that you have your fingers on either side of the ear and you're pulling down lightly. Again, very light pressure. You're going to use the full finger and top part of your palm to pull downward. Once you've done that about 50 times, we're going to do what we did last, which is cup around the back. Do that 50 times. And my fluid is moving right now. My right ear is completely clear and my left ear still has a little bit of drainage in it. Once you do that about 50 times, you're going to pull down the side of the neck again, like this. Do that about 50 times, and then we'll end up where we're third finger on the internal notch right there. Slip into the venous angle, just go right above the collarbone. And hang out there, do 50 or 100 pumps right there, and you're going to continue to feel the fluid move throughout the rest of your head as well. So these are the steps that I do to myself when I actually have some congestion in my head like I did this morning. It's actually moving quite well right now.
Okay, so I hope you catch on to some of the techniques. You might want to go back to that video is on YouTube. So if you're interested in looking again at that video, you could go to YouTube and you could watch it in. We've trimmed it, so you could actually watch it totally.
Yeah, these are some of the benefits that from draining the lymphatic system in the upper part of the body. Now, in terms of herbal remedies that we can use, and one of the first one we're going to be sharing with you is this herbal lymphatic tonic. The ingredients here: 1 part echinacea, 1 part cleaver, 1 part marigold, and you combine these together. Combine these herbs together. Take 1 teaspoon.
Tablespoon.
Sorry, 1 tablespoon. Steep in a cup of freshly boiled water for 10 minutes, and this should be consumed 3 times daily. So this is one of the herbal remedies, the first herbal remedies. Here's another one for lymphatic system. This is an herbal mixture for the lymphatic system again, and this is to encourage and enhance the flow of the lymph. And that is 2 parts echinacea, 1 part cleaver, 1 part golden seal, and 1 part pork root. Pretty much the very same method of preparation. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, and we will move on quickly because we realize we are running out of time. Here are some additional herbs that can be used to improve the lymphatic system. So we've got astragalus, very important herb, garlic, we've got ginger, we've got milk thistle, we've got red root, another very, very special herb for the lymphatic system, turmeric, and wild indigo. These are very, very important herbs for us to have if we are experiencing lymphatic blockage.
Just some additional ones. Some of the ones that were mentioned already are repeated here, but like cranberry, seaweed, the berries, quite good. Citruses, those are some of the things that will actually help with, lymph flow. Okay.
Right. So these are some of the things that we can do to help to improve our lymphatic system. Remember, just in summary, the lymphatic system is the drainage system of the body. There are simple things that we can do. We can do massages. We can do exercise. We need to do a lot of exercise, I should say. Hydration is very important. We also need to do rebounding as part of our exercise regime. I remember I've got clients who didn't have rebounder, and what they did at the time, they get a spring, those whole spring bed, and they just go on top of it and just bounce on top of it. So we can improvise where possible, just to help to get the lymphatic moving. It's very, very important. Notice we didn't touch anything today, and the stomach, we didn't touch anything on the kidneys. We didn't even touch the spleen, which is one of the biggest organ of the lymphatic system. But because there's just so many areas that we could have gone out into, we do a lymphatic flush that normally within about 48 hours it will decongest the whole lymphatic system. Maybe in another presentation, when we present again on the 19th of June, we might incorporate some of these other methods that can be used. But we were just pretty much skimming the surface and just picking up on a few things. So what we've done today was more or less give you a sort of broader overview of the lymphatic system. But we haven't really touched much, I must say. because there's quite a bit more that we could have touched on. But this is just to give you an overview and sort of sensitize you to the importance of looking after the lymphatic system. Remember, we said there are the three main ways of moving the lymphatic system. They are through hydration, they are through exercise, and deep breathing. Our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Never forget that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And John said, God wish above all things that we prosper and be in health, even as our soul prospereth.
Okay, so we hand over back to Charlene.
Wow. Thank you so much, Noelle Marie. That was very informative. It was just good. I've learned so much from you two, and I thank you so much. And I'm sure from the comments, especially with the drainage bit, people benefited from it, those who tried it. So we thank you. There's a lot of thank yous in the messages, and we do thank you, Marie and Noelle. So we are going to open the floor for the question and answers. But before we do, in our messages in the chat box, we have got the Telegram groups. So those who just joined, if you're not a part of our TTI family Telegram groups, the links are in the chat for you to click on, and you'll be sent straight to the platform. So the floor will be open now for any questions and answers. But please, can it also be general for Noelle Marie? If it's a consultation, we will ask you to contact one of the TTI team so that we can send it off to Noelle or Marie, or if Noelle Marie would like to put your details in the chat for us, please, for them to contact you if you depends on how you would like to do it. Either way, for them to contact one of us when it comes to private consultations. Okay, so the floor will be open, and I will say some questions as well. So Noelle Marie, I'm going to just go from what I can see here. So I can see, does it help to detox the liver also?
Yes. Yeah. It's definitely helpful to detox the liver. And like we said, we're just kind of skimming it's more like an introduction today, because like Noelle said, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. The system is so intricately linked that if you're doing, things to enhance the flow of lymph, yes, and you have that stagnation, the liver is quite crucial for you to detox as well. However, I would say that before you do a detox of the liver, you will need to actually, it's always recommended that you do the colon first, yes, before you do liver flushes. So that would be based on maybe a program that you're going and you do it systematically.
Okay, thank you.
You can just do the lymphatic system as a solo on its own.
Thank you, Marie. We have got two hands up. One's from Olive and the one's from Tina. So I'm going to take Olive first, and then I'll take Tina.
Oh, hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just wanted to know, if you've already got a blockage in your lymphatic system in the leg, some of the exercises and what have you that you were discussing here, is that helpful, or is the information that you've given for those, is it kind of like preventative?
It's both. It's both. If you've got a blockage, it will help to clear the blockage and to stimulate the flow. And also, if you haven't got a blockage, it would help to keep the lymphatic system flowing well.
Oh, okay, I see. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll take Tina. Tina's hand is up as well. And then I'm going to put some questions in the chat.
Hi,
Tina.
it's okay, thank you. That was an excellent presentation. Thank you so much for that. You mentioned earlier about elevating the head of the bed to alleviate stiffness in the mornings when you get up.
Right.
Wouldn't that cause the lymph to collect in the legs though? As in if you elevate sort of the head of the bed, wouldn't that, cause toxins to collect in the legs? I just wondered about that as you said it.
Okay, no, because you see, lymph goes against the force of gravity, so it wouldn't. The lymph flow goes against the force of gravity, so it wouldn't cause the fluid collection in the lower extremities. I don't know if I want to add to that.
No, you're absolutely right. And beside the stomach, where you have the greatest flow of lymph is right here. If you notice in that demo, that last video presentation, that last video that we've shown, she was working on these areas up here because this is where you normally have the greatest stagnation. Hence the reason why you wanna put your bed in a sort of tilt position to facilitate that. And like we said, when you get up in the morning, again, deep breathing, hydration, and you want to do some stretches as well. And that will help to decongest and keep you going. If you're in an environment where you have to be sitting around a desk, crouching over the desk, looking at the screen all day, it is not healthy. And if you notice, a number of workplaces are now creating these workstations where you actually stand. It is much more beneficial to your body. You need to keep moving every 30 minutes. If you have to be sitting at a desk, you want to get up, walk around, do a bit of stretching. And if you can, even if you can only just manage 5 squats, just squat a few times before you go back to that desk. But every 30 minutes, so sitting down, sitting in a sofa, just sitting and relaxing all day, you're not doing your body any favor. You really need to keep moving.
Thank you. Thank you. So I will go to Carol, please.
Really?
Hi, Edgar.
I've got a question from a YouTuber. Just asked, they're asking about pins and needles in their hands, and also double question, using apple cider vinegar, does that cause problems?
Using it internally?
I believe so.
Okay, Noah Marie.
Okay, well, we advocate the use of apple cider vinegar internally. Apple cider vinegar, however, can be applied externally. If you notice one of the policies that we made reference to, we said external for external use, not for internal use. Now, in terms of pins and needles in the fingers or being in some extremities of the body, that is a clear indication of an electrolyte imbalance. So you want to have a look at your magnesium and potassium level in the body, because most time that is what is out of balance. And one quick way to create a balance is to drink something like a fresh coconut water. That will help to balance that, create that balance within the electrolyte system of the body.
In addition to that, there is, and it's derived from natural source, it's Ultima replenishing powder. It's made from stevia, I believe it's the base, and you can add like a scoop of that to like a 16-ounce fluid of water, and it helps with the electrolyte balance in your body. And this is something that a lot of athletes will use, and people in sports that do a lot of sweating, so they'll be losing a lot of these minerals and from sweating and all of that they replenish by using these things. So it's the brand that I'm familiar with is Ultima replenishing hydration powder, and it's balance with, bring back the balance with electrolyte in sachet, or you can get a canister of it, and you just add a scoop of it to your water, and you can even enhance that further with like essential oil, like citrus oil, any of the citruses. So that's something that you can explore if you're having pins and needles. But also, it's a bit of part of it is lymphatic, your lymphatic flow as well.
And just to add a bit more to it as well, it can also be a built-up of calcium calcification inside the body, getting into the soft tissues and pretty much blocking the flow of the lymph. So that is something that you might want to explore, a bit more. So if you think you're taking enough electrolyte, you're not losing a lot of you're not sweating, that's excessively, that is causing this sort of imbalance within the system. You might want to have it further checked out to see exactly, what's the underlying cause of this. But it can also be calcium calcification, where the calcium is actually leaching out of the bone, getting into the bloodstream to the soft tissues of the body. And another clear indication of this as well is the start of twitching in the eye as well. From time to time, some people get it. That's a clear sign. So if you're getting pins and needles in the extremities of the body, like the fingers, the toes, and you notice that you're getting a bit of twitching in the eyes as well, that is a clear indication of calcium calcification.
And should I just add, it's not if it's calcium calcification, it doesn't mean that you need to be taking calcium supplements. You don't. It just means that there's adequate in your body, so that to point that out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you repeat that again? Because it lags and then it cut off. So
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Right. No, we're saying that, actually, you repeat yourself.
No, I'm saying if these sort of pins and needles in your fingers, and you're getting a sort of twitching in the eyes, it's a more sort of clear indication that it might not just be an electrolyte imbalance, but it's also calcium calcification, where the calcium is actually leaching out of the bone into the bloodstream and getting into the soft tissues and creating some amount of congestion. When this is happening, normally you might go to the doctor and the doctor will tell you from the blood test that you're low in calcium, but it doesn't really mean that, you should go and start taking a calcium supplement. You've got enough calcium in your body, but it's just that it's at the wrong place in the body. So in supplement, you might want to take a vitamin vitamin K2, M4, M7, and this will help to bring the calcium, to put the calcium back where it belongs, and that is in the bone.
Thank you, Noah. Are you able to type that in the chat, please? If anyone heard that, I didn't hear that bit.
Yes,
thank you. So if anyone can just put, if anyone's heard it, can you just put it in the chat for us, please? Or Marie or Noel, and when you finish with the questions.
Okay.
So what I'll do, I'm going to go to Carol, please. She has her hand up.
Yes, thanks. Thanks for the presentation. A couple of weeks ago, I found that around my neck was hurting me so badly that I couldn't even turn my neck. By the way, I was diagnosed with breast cancer over a year ago, and I'm dealing with it naturally anyway. So I found that around my neck was hurting me, but I couldn't even twitch my neck. It was so painful, and I just think about what to do, and I drank some cayenne pepper in some, cause I'm taking lemon water first thing in the morning before I do anything, trying to alkaline my body. So I decided to put the cayenne pepper into the lemon water and just drink it that way. And saying that and it did relieve the pain from around my neck and so on. And then I was diagnosed breast cancer, so I went for a scan on my breast last Wednesday. And when I went for this scan, they're saying, well, the doctor is saying that I have a swollen gland. So I was wondering, swollen gland, you know, that was quite strange to me. And then you know, I got the result back, and he was saying in the result that he spoke about the swollen node, and he was saying that that my lymph node is unremarkable. Unremarkable. I don't know what that means. He says unremarkable. I don't know what the meaning means. I don't know. But you know, that's what he was saying. You know, so I don't know if you can shed some light on that. I don't know.
It's almost natural when you've got breast cancer to develop these lymph nodes, swollen lymph nodes under the armpit. And we've shared a few remedies that you can actually use to decongest these swollen lymph nodes. And some of the things that you'll have to stop doing because of this breast cancer, you'll have to stop doing things like using those antiperspirant deodorant. Remember, we talk about heavy metal in the body. Heavy metal is one way of blocking or clogging the lymph nodes. So if, for example, you're still using antiperspirant deodorant, that is something that you'll have to eliminate ASAP. And skin brushing, just mild skin brushing can help to decongest that swollen lymph nodes as well. Because of the armpit, it's a little bit difficult to get poultices under the armpit, you know. But one of the other way that you can help to decongest those lymph nodes as well is a lot of stretching. So if you notice what Dr. Melissa Gallagher, she was doing on the trampoline, she was swinging her arms. You notice she was swinging her arms and she was stretching. She was going up, down, all of that sort of thing. The more you stretch those arms, swinging those arms, exercising those arms, you're declogging those lymph nodes. So those are some of the things that you really want to do to help to decongest, because once that lymph node is swollen, it's telling you that that tumor is slowly growing.
And not just that. It's just the swollen lymph node is an indication that the body is collecting toxins and bacteria and stuff. There's an infection body. Yeah. And the nodes is almost like what we call the dumping ground, because that's where the filtration takes place. So it just means that the body is quarantined things from around your body and dumping there. So you'd want to actually do everything you can do to keep the flow of the lymph going, because the more the lymph flow, the more collection from the tissues, and then you'd want to just excrete, you know, just do what's natural to get them eliminated from the body. So maybe the swelling, the pain in the neck is as a result of the stagnation as well. Because if you find like in the upper part of the body, it's stagnant, then all the fluids that even from the brain drains down into this cavity here. So if it's clogged down here, it means that there's going to be stagnation in the neck is as a result. And you would feel a little better with the cayenne, because the cayenne would actually increase the
yeah, to open up those capillaries.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Noah Marie.
Charlene, may I say something, please? My name is Brenda.
Can I ask the name of the brush that that you're requesting to
It's called dry skin brushing. Dry skin brush, sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
May I say something?
Hi Brenda, I'm just about to go to, is it quick? I'm just about to go to another hand that was up.
Yeah, it's quick.
Okay.
Yes, it's just Carol just now when she spoke, she was saying that the doctor said the scan was unremarkable and she didn't know what it means. Unremarkable means normal.
Okay, thank you, Brenda. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You hear that? Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Brenda.
Okay.
The next hand, I think it was Abigail. Can't see. Yes, Abigail.
Hi, I just needed to find out the relationship between taking a cold shower and improving the lymph. Is it true? Because I read somewhere that when you take a cold shower, it also, one of the things that it does, it improves lymph circulation. Is that true?
Oh, with this cold shower, it's just a cold shower by itself, or are you talking about a contrasting bath? I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, you could take the first warm bath and then the cold shower at the end, which improves lymph circulation.
Yeah.
It does. Okay, thanks.
It does, because what you're doing, you're manipulating the body temperature in your, and you know, fresh blood, stimulates the body and brings healing. So it's very important. It's another way of you know, encouraging or promoting good lymph flow. Just contrasting bath.
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much.
Shirley?
Thank you. Yes, Edgar?
I've got another question, if I could just jump in. This is from YouTube. They're asking, can skipping be used as a replacement for rebounding?
Skipping is very, very, very good, and it's that I encourage. It's one of my favorite exercises as well. So in terms of it pretty much you're achieving the same you're achieving the same thing. Normally what I usually do, I normally get on my rebounder, and I normally skip while I'm on my rebounder. That's what I normally do. But skipping is also a very very good way. Resistant exercise is also important. You know, all of these things. Jogging is very important as well. All of these, just keep the body moving. All of these things will help.
Okay.
So
And
everybody to go out and want to get themselves a rebounder. Sometimes you have to work with what you have. Look at what you have, but you can make the very best of what you have.
All right. Just one more thing, quick, Shirley, before I hand it back to you. Timmy said, is there going to be a part 2?
We will be presenting again on the 19th, and like I mentioned in my closing remark to our presentation, is that we've just pretty much just touched the surface. We haven't yet looked at the greater part of the immune system.
Okay, and so the answer is yes.
Possibility, yes.
Yes, there's a strong possibility.
And the last thing I would say is, why is it taking so long for you to come back to TTI? Because people want more of this. So please do not be a stranger.
Well, Edgar, as you know, we have we have relocated. We're back in Germany.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Back to you, Shirley.
Thank God we're back.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you for the questions on YouTube. Noelle Marie actually answered. There was a few questions regarding we don't have a trampoline or a rebounder. What can you use? So you use what you have. So you can do the skipping, squatting, anything that's keeping you moving. So thank you for answering that. But people are also asking in the chat regarding the lymphatic flush, whether you can do this at home or what can they do to do a lymphatic flush. And I'm not sure if you mentioned it that you may do it in June. I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but I know there's some questions in the chat regarding a lymphatic flush. So I'm not sure.
So with regard to the lymphatic flush, I'll put our contact detail in the chat, Charlene.
Okay, yes.
People can contact us on this number via WhatsApp. We still have our British number. No, you put your, so you can WhatsApp us. It's a British number, but we still use that as our WhatsApp number. So you can contact us if you are interested in a lymphatic flush. But there are so many other things that we've mentioned as well that is even more accessible that you can use to, you know, not just do a one-off flush, but it's to maintain good health, which are things that you can do on a daily basis as well. So if you want to find out more about the lymphatic flush, Noah has just put his number in the chat. That's a WhatsApp only number, okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Noah Marie. Thank you for your contact information. I think I just saw it there. Yes. So thank you very much. And there is a testimony in the chat from a lady called Sharon that she has been having pain in her neck for about 3 weeks. And she just did the lymph exercise and now she's no longer feeling the pain. So she thanks both of you
praise
for
God
your
for that.
information. Yes, so she thanks both of you. So that's good to hear, Sharon. I'm just trying to see if there's any more questions. There's one here. Are there other ways to help with calcium leaking out of the bones, please? And I think that's the last one that I can see. So are there any ways to help with calcium leaking out of the bones?
Leaking of calcium from the bone sometimes is because of a malfunction in parathyroid. And so that might need a consultation where we might have to look, you know, get the person to do some blood tests to see if the parathyroid hormone, that little hormone, not the thyroid hormone, but the parathyroid hormone, that is sending the wrong signal for the body to release calcium. So it could be as a result of that. And there are quite a number of things that, you know, can be done. But taking that vitamin K, you can get vitamin K2 complete, or just vitamin K complete, which would be a spectrum of vitamin K1, K2, MK4, MK6, MK7, and MK9. And that should help along with vitamin D, vitamin D3, and magnesium. Those should help. Those are some of the supplements that would help. But most time, it's a malfunction in parathyroid hormone that is out of balance.
Thank you, Noah Marie. There is one more, but
I have a question.
You got one, Edgar?
Yeah, sure. It says, what will help to build up the immune system? What do you suggest? And also, he says he has a continuous chest infection. So to build up what would you suggest to build up the immune system? And also, he says he has a continuous chest infection.
Okay. Taylor Reeve, or should I go ahead?
What to do to build the immune system? There are lots of things that you can actually use to build up the immune system. You can. The everyday things like the use of ginger, garlic, turmeric. These are good things that you can use to build up the immune system. It's elderberry. It's quite good to use as a tea to build the immune system. I mean, there's countless things. Anything that has in like high amounts of vitamin C would be good. Things like selenium is quite good. Vitamin A, quite excellent as well for the immune system. Anything what we would call like flavonoids, those brightly colored vegetables and fruits, using these on a daily basis. These are foods that will actually fight free radicals, and free radicals is what causes cell death. And if you have these, and cell death is a normal thing that is as a result of cellular respiration, and we can't avoid the production of free radicals in our body. But what we need to do is to be eating, abundantly of the fresh fruits and vegetables, and the brightly colored ones that will provide us with the things that will fight free radicals. So once we're doing that and we're having, good amount of vitamin C, and if you have like, you're saying enough vitamin C today, don't think that you don't need tomorrow. These are water soluble vitamins. And so by you urinating, sweating, and, talking, you will lose these vitamins on a day. So you need daily replenishing of these vitamins. For the person who is asking, if you just send you some recipes, because there's abundance of recipe that we could actually send you with regards to building the immune system.
Yeah, and just one other thing here, very important. Sometimes we drop the gun in trying to improve our immune system. One of the first things that we need to do is to clean up the system, clean up our bodies. So we clean our colon. It's very, very, very important, because it's not that you want, all these things that Marie just mentioned, but it will be at a much slower process. So if you just set aside maybe a week and said, okay, over these next 7 days, I'm gonna get about cleaning up my colon. That will definitely help. So you clean the colon. Remember, one of the main detoxifying organ of the body is the liver. So you do a liver cleanse. And like we've just gone through this whole lymphatic, you do a lymphatic drainage and allow the lymphatic system to flow freely. Once you've done these, you realize that your body responds much more quicker to all of these vitamins and minerals. So for me, the first thing, doesn't matter what illness the person has, clean the system, clean up the body, clean up the vital organs. Once that is done, that chest infection will definitely go away. Do a lot of exercise, follow the 8 laws, the 8 health doctors, stick to those, and you'll begin to realize remarkable improvement in your health.
But also hot and cold compress to the chest area. If you continue having continuous infection in the chest area, hot and cold definitely help, and some deep breathing with, or some steam with like eucalyptus oil, will definitely help.
Yeah, and on something like, one thing you want to do as well for that chest infection, you want to do a bit of rubbing. So you get a towel, immerse it in water, rub the chest. Yeah, I was just saying, you want to rub the chest with that area where there's this congestion. Just rub it. If you've got a dry skin brush, you can brush that area. After you'd have completed that, you can actually do an onion poultice over that area as well, and that will help to decongest that and help to get rid of that chest infection. Copious amount of vitamin C.
Thank you very much. Shirley, are you there?
I am here.
I'm just going to put up a slide because I know that the time is running. I'm going to put up a slide of the groups, but also to advertise for tomorrow, just so that others can know and also tell others about the program for tomorrow. If you could just talk us through it.
Okay. Okay, so for those who are on our YouTube channel at this moment in time, this is the link for our Telegram groups. So we have the women's, the spiritual, and the men's wellness group. So this is the URL for you to join us on the Telegram. Okay, so this is the PayPal. So when it comes to TTI, True Temperance International, and what we do quite a few things. It's not just our Saturday show that you see us doing for about a year now at 3. Well, there are a few of us that go out and distribute books, homeless, go out and do medical missionary work. We do training. This was physical before lockdown, and we had training and consultations and so forth. So if you feel impressed, this is our link for PayPal for TTI. This is one of the sessions we hold in the week on a Thursday at 7 o'clock, and we talk about essential oils and how beneficial they are. I know Marie mentioned citrus ones when she was just speaking, citrus essential oils. So we talk about essential oils, how beneficial they are for the system when it comes to health. So that's every Thursday at 7. And then for tomorrow, we have Barbara O'Neill coming, will be with us with TTI tomorrow at 3. And she'll be discussing home remedies. So what we can use within our home when it comes to illness, when it comes to health. So please be with us tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Okay, I'll speak to this. This is the cooking school, the Older Palms Cooking School. Now they actually are running the program at the moment, and you also can go onto their website and you can see that they have a e-book that you can access, but also is actually running a cooking school right now. So if you get the website, if you're interested in cooking or you're struggling to find things to cook, Alvin is one of our team, and his wife are there to help, and this is another program that you can access. Thank you very much. I'll stop sharing. Have you got any more questions, Shirley?
Thank you, Edgar. We have. Well, what we'll do, I'm going to Maria Noel.
We're still here.
And what we'll do about 5 more minutes, because I know time is ticking. So we'll do about 5 more minutes of the questions. So if it can kind of be quick, if not, we'll have to just discuss some of it in our Telegram group, or I know you sent your number in the chat, and then we can have discussions on, you can have discussion with them as well.
Before you go for the 5 minutes, please, can you put back Barbara O'Neill's contact thing for me I was trying to photograph it.
Oh, it will be the same link for tomorrow. She's going to be on our show tomorrow. We're having a special.
Yeah, I was sending it to someone.
Oh, you want to send it to somebody?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Edgar, can you just put it
If you carry on, I will put it up again when we've finished.
Okay.
Carry on, because time is running out.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll put it on at the end.
Also,
Okay,
can you put the Telegram links at the end again, please?
Of course, yes, I will do that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And, Sharon's just said, if you look in the chat, they're in the chat. If it's possible, could you put the program link in the chat as well, Sharon? And people can still access it, but I will show it at the end. Go ahead, Shirley.
Okay, so some of these are regarding the lymphoedema in the legs. And I know you mentioned regarding edema in your presentation and the herbs to take. Would that still be okay for this person, Noelle Marie? So they said lymphedema in the legs. Any advice?
Yes, it will definitely help, because remember, the fact that there's a presence of lymphedema, maybe there's a malfunction of something. Most of these, every disease that we have is as a result of toxicity or deficiency. So it will definitely help. Also, in a study that I did previously, it shows that there's a connection between parasite infestation and lymphedema. So that is something that the person might want to have been exposed to parasite, or do they have parasite, because that can be a trigger for lymphedema as well.
Okay, thank you, Marie. And then there's another question. When someone has low calcium, they've been told they have low calcium, will drinking more milk not help as well? Help too, when they have low calcium. But what they could do is take the leafy vegetables, which is full of calcium.
Yeah.
And also moringa, which is probably more than the milk. Yeah, so normal, you can take leafy vegetables and juice it and drink it, or take moringa powder.
Yeah.
That helps. Someone's asking regarding something I cannot say, but I know there's 2 hands up, but there is something ankylosing spondylitis. I don't know if you've even heard of that. I haven't.
Can you repeat that one, Auntie?
Anky, A-N-K-Y, ankylosing, and then
spondylitis.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not sure. It's some information. Can the person just say specifically what it is they experience?
Some information for us all, if they can. Who was Ritson? Ritson? Are you there?
Sharon was saying that it's that the person can't bend their neck.
Okay, the person is not able to.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the stiffness in my joints and a lot of pain that goes with that. Very stiff joints.
Okay.
Okay. Are you able to contact us via WhatsApp on the number given in the chat?
Is that Noel's one?
Yes.
Yeah, I can contact you there.
Yeah.
And then we could talk a bit more about that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and if it's a joint, one of the things that you can
It
do
is
actually.
arthritis of the spine.
Sorry?
It is arthritis of the spine.
Arthritis of the spine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Right. But what I was just going to say to Riston is that inflammation in the joints, if it's in the joints, what other thing you can do, you can actually do a ginger poultice and apply it to the joint. And it will pull that inflammation out. I've got a few people who came to me recently with the same problem. And all of day I send them back and tell them, just go and get some ginger, you probably just need to rest the leg for a little while, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours, ideally 4 hours, and put a ginger poultice on it. It's gonna burn. It's gonna burn a lot. But one thing you will notice after removing that poultice is that the knee will move much freer, that stiffness will go away, and you will experience less pain. Again, this is going to be short-lived. Why it will be short-lived? Because it's a buildup of inflammation inside the body. Anything to do with itis is inflammation. So it's a buildup of inflammation inside the body. And so you don't just want to just attack the joints, but you want to do a complete cleaning of the body. This is, I can't overemphasize the importance of cleaning our system before we start any sort of repair to the body.
Agree. A good cleanse. I'm just going to do 2 hands that's up, and these were the last 2, and then we will wrap up our show. So we're going to have Joy first, and then Lily O, and then that will be the last 2 for today.
Oh, thank you. So, sorry, I had my hand up a long time ago, and then my line just went off because I'm up and about. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. The question I have is really, maybe it's partially answered, but what I wanted to find out, if somebody had a lymph node surgery in their armpit, and then now they have like a swelling, this cup of like 2 lumps in their neck. They're asking if they should be worried, and is it something that they should go and check? Because I heard whether the gentleman saying that when people have had breast cancer, it's very common for them to have something to do with the lymphatic system, but then the line just went off, so I missed that bit. So I'm not sure. It's on the same side where they have the lumps in the neck. It's on the same side that they had the lymph nodes removed in their armpit. So they're wondering whether they should be concerned, or is there anything natural they can do to free that up? Because it seems like it's a swollen lymph gland. Yeah.
Definitely. Because that lymph node is being removed and the body is quarantining it, another lymph node. That's what I think is happening at the moment. So the person will actually need to take on some of the things that we've suggested for getting the lymph to flow and to remove the stagnation. So I think that's what it is. Yes.
So where do I see that? Where is the things? Because my screen kept freezing and I kept missing out on the presentation. So would I have to go on YouTube, or you're going to share that on the screen again? Then I can quickly take a screenshot.
we shared several things. Perhaps if you go back to look on YouTube, because we shared quite a few.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Or if you want to contact us, then send us your email or
Yeah.
send TTI, via TTI, then we could actually send you the list.
And like we said earlier on, one of the things that you can do to decongest the lymph node is applying one of these herbs I'm going to be mentioning. It's comfrey, plantain, and witch hazel, and apple cider vinegar. So these are things that you can actually apply directly to the area. You can also use what we call a carrot poultice.
Okay.
Carrot poultice, where you grate the carrot, you'd put it on a piece of cotton cloth and you'd apply it to the area.
Yeah.
And you can do a castor oil pack. You can also do a parsley poultice, where you bruise the parsley and apply it to the area as well. So these are some of the things that you can do, that a person can do. Bromelain, 400 to 500 milligram of bromelain, and that would also help.
Okay. What's your contact details, please, so I can take a screenshot? I don't know if you've shared it already.
It was in the chat.
Yeah, it's in the chat, but
just give her the number.
Yeah, I'll go very slow with the number. It's 079.
Okay. Yeah. 07948
602
302
464.
464. Okay.
Somebody's put that in the chat.
Thank you.
I'm just going to ask the last question from YouTube, and they're saying, is the problems with the lymph system, does that have an impact on fibroids?
Lymph system and fibroids. Notice we didn't really touch on the it does because fibroids.
I'm just going to mute.
Just mute. Yeah, can you mute, Shirley?
Please. I don't know who it is. I think it's done now. I think.
Go ahead.
If you try to define what fibroids is in a layman term, it's really the body way of quarantine toxin. So there's a definite link. Once everything in the body is flowing, then you won't have these things. You won't have this thing that we call in Jamaica Wasson canal in the groin. You won't have fibroids. You won't have all of these things, because the body, everything, there's no congestion in the body. So there's definitely a link to it. And this is what I think we will look. Yeah, the food that we eat as well will, if someone's got been having too much estrogen forming food, it's gonna even magnify the situation even more. But once the body's moving freely, the systems of the body are working fine, then there will be no need for fibroids.
And just to add to that, I think if you're having issues with fibroids, that you have to look at your diet, look a lot at, what you're eating, because most of the times what we with fibroids, it's diet related a lot of the times, which cause our body to be out of balance. And as a result, the body can't deal with some of these things, and then it gives rise to things like fibroids, where the body is quarantining things in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And there was the last hand up, the Lily O. So I'm going to let this person ask, and then that will be it. But thank you, Noah Marie. Lily O, if you can just ask your question, please.
Thank you for the presentation. And my question is, should you always take vitamin K2 with vitamin D? You mentioned K2 earlier, and why, please?
Okay, the reason why you want to take them, if you've got too much vitamin D3, vitamin D3 is very good, but you overdose yourself on vitamin D3, it can create that same imbalance inside the system where the body starts start releasing calcium. So it's best to take them together so they compensate for each other.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Noelle Marie. Yeah, thank you very much for your knowledge and the information that you have given to us. And those who joined and have missed it, please read. It's on replay. It's on YouTube on True Temple International, where you can watch this presentation again and previous ones that we've done since last year, May or June. So please like and subscribe on YouTube, where you'll get future programs coming onto your phone or device when we have another session. So Noelle Marie, we thank you once again. I'm sure you'll be getting a lot of
I have a last question. Sorry,
sent to you. Say that again. Sorry.
I had a last question. For the vitamins, I don't remember if it was addressed or not. Is there any strength specific for the vitamin K and vitamin D? Is there like, I know for vitamin D you probably have 25 unit or more, but for the vitamin K, what is the strength?
For the vitamin D3, I normally recommend 5,000 IU. And for the vitamin K2, the full spectrum, that is vitamin K2, I normally recommend 120 mcg.
120. All right. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Noelle and Marie once again. So what we'll do, I'm going to say thank you to our YouTubers as well, who's come on YouTube. So we thank you for joining us. And what we're going to do now, after the session now, we're going to let everybody unmute and talk to us and say where they're from or their name, just to get to know other people that's on this Zoom platform. But those who are on YouTube, we do thank you. And please join us tomorrow with Barbara O'Neill at 3 o'clock. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Shirley, I'm just going to put the slide up again for the groups and also the advertisement for tomorrow.
Okay, that's fine. Once that's done, then YouTube, we thank you again. So then we'll just do our meet and greet.
Shirley, what would you say about Barbara O'Neill as an encouragement?
You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. She has a wealth of knowledge, years of experience. When she has her Misty Mountains, isn't it? Her training. I know she has a lot of training, and I know has a lot of programs online as well. And I know it's one not to miss. A wealth of knowledge she has.
Excellent.
And as Samantha said, Barbara talks are amazing, and it is. So you don't want to miss it. Please come back and be with us tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
All right. And you can check out Alvin, who's one of our presenters, part of the team. He's running some cooking classes. Go onto his website. There's a web address. Find out what's going on. And he's also got a lovely ebook. You can see some of the cooking. And even Shirley has been on his program, and Sharon, they would recommend it.
Yeah.
Please pass it on. Let people know there's going to be a program tomorrow. with Barbara O'Neill. Should be very, very good. I'm really looking forward to it. Tell somebody. I'm going to stop sharing.
Thank you, Edgar.
No problem.
Thank you. Thank you, YouTube again. Take care and have a